hello. How to make great decisions for your future and do it in such a powerful way that you can make yourself ready for the most powerful things that you want to call into your future. And today, joined by the incredible Shusmita. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the incredible Shusmita because we've got something so powerful and exciting in store for all of you that we cannot wait for us to hear where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from, and let's hit the beautiful song. Yo, yo, yo! So excited to be here with you, Shushmita. Thank you so much for once again a very cool topic, and I cannot wait to speak about it. So, Shushmita, I'm going to pass the mic straight away to you. How to make great decisions for your future. What would you like to start off with today?
I would like to start off with thank you very much, Tjibaria, for inviting me on your podcast and having this episode with me again, which is our episode number 2. And yes, and I want to thank you again for the amazing P1M1 Project 1 Million in 1 year event we just had. And we saw lives changing. We saw our audience and our team. It was a great experience. Of course, for the audience, of course, for the participants, but also for us. So a big thank you to all our participants and to us. And yes, how to make
awesome.
how to make great decisions is there is no one lesson. There are a few steps, but my favorite is, as Maya Angelou said, make glorious, amazing mistakes. So the first thing I would say, you have to take some risk. We never know that what we are going to do is going to be 100% the right action. But if you are wholeheartedly honest and if you are wholeheartedly willing to make a change and give it your all, something good will always come up. Even if it is not what you expected, something better will come up. So that is one step. Number 2, you have to constantly, hi Akshiti, and we have to be mindful of our previous actions and the results we had gotten. And even if things didn't work out, what we call failure, even if you had failed, look through and see what things went wrong. Sometimes maybe you did something wrong. Sometimes maybe you did nothing wrong. Just you didn't estimate the result in accordance to the people or the actions, or the outcome wasn't clear. So that way. And finally, having the clarity on the priority. So if your priority is to, let's say, having a great dinner tonight, then your decision would be to look through what restaurants, or if you are trying to cook a meal at home, what can you do with the time? How can I prepare well? If your goal is to have a financially abundant 2025, then you need to start right now. If your goal is to be an academic, like learning a lot, reading a lot, publishing research papers, then you need to act accordingly, enroll in universities or enroll in research teams, how you are going to do. So with every decision, every priority, you have to lower some other priorities. So if my goal is to publish research papers in 2025, and I also want to be a musician, then not always it is going to blend in unless my research is on being a musician. So you need to understand, and not always things will come equally to you. The balance is not like having equality. The balance is, now this is priority, and next what is priority, and how can I balance out. Of course, family is always the top priority, non-negotiable, and our loved ones and our friends. So how can we balance them while focusing on our goals? So I request you to give some more clarity, Tibaria,
Mm.
because there is no one step in my book, and many of you know. And if this is the first time you
Mm.
hear, then know that I have major accomplished failures in my life, which
You're so
right
funny.
now has is uh, coming up as my gift. And because of those, I made assessments. Because of all those, I am here today. Wherever
Yeah.
I am very grateful, because I couldn't imagine that I could be here in front of the whole world sharing my message.
Mhm.
So once again, thank you, Chibaria, and
Oh,
please share.
thank you to you. No, no, it's like it's really a true point what you're making, and I think we should really stress like what you just said about prioritizing that, because there are also, we see it at our events a lot, that there's people that really want to make a difference in their lives, and that's been like a major topic that we discussed in our last project 1 million as well. And they want to create more freedom, more income, and better ability to do something that is purposeful. But then oftentimes people think, well, I don't have the time. And it's like, time's so scarce and it's so busy all the time. And how can I even get started with this? And I think that's exactly like what you're saying. And what everybody here should know is that if there is a particular thing that you want to achieve, whatever that may be, that you make the time for it and that you are prioritizing. And with that regards, there was an exercise that I once learned all the way in the beginning. And I think it was actually Master Shirakashna who shared it in one of our very long ago events, that what if you are to make two lists, and everybody, if you want to do this exercise at home, by all means do it. It's really cool. On the one hand, you write down what are actually your priorities in life. So write down what are the things like Shushmita mentioned, for instance, friends and family. Maybe you want to pursue something within your career, and then maybe also you want to work on becoming more healthy, and then you just write out all of these things that are important, the five top most important things in your life. And then, and this is where things get shocking, you write down, based over the last couple of months, what are the five things that you put of your time towards. And what a lot of people then realize when they look at those two things is that, wait a second, this is supposedly the most important thing, but it's all the way down on the list. I'm not actually putting any time towards that. And a lot of people that, again, want to change their lives and make great decisions for a great future, they then feel like there's not enough time in the day, not enough time in the week. And they keep on procrastinating and keep on putting things forward, because it is sometimes a tough call to say, well, you know what, I'm going to prioritize these things that matter to me. And so when we were doing those exercises back in the day in our events, it's like people saw that mismatch. And that was so shocking that they're like, okay, cool. So I can really see it now. This is important to me. This is where I'm spending my time on. Let me make a change, because if you keep doing that, then you're not going to get any step closer to your future. So it is really about, okay, how do I then prioritize it, the things that I want. Now obviously, no matter who you are, there are probably certain things that you have a responsibility to spend time on, whether that is that you are in a job and you have to, do certain hours and qualify for certain task that you do and blah blah blah, all those sort of things, or there's other commitments that you have that you cannot just throw into the bin, of course. But if there's a will, there's a way. And I think that's where things get interesting, because if you actually do make that, and my brother had a really powerful exercise in his course. And for those of you who don't know my brother's Meat and Savage, go follow him, he's absolutely amazing. And in his course, he basically has this exercise where people then have to just write down for an entire week what are they doing at every hour of the day. So you just literally write down, you just monitor yourself, see, what am I doing, what am I doing, what am I doing. Yes. Thank you, Sushmita. And then if you look at it and then you just monitor an entire week, you are able to actually identify like what are the spots where you're literally just not doing anything productive. Like many of us are probably guilty of a bit too much Instagram scrolling or TikToking or Candy Crush or Netflixing or just some stuff. I'm not saying that you should cut that out completely, but you should be aware that if you say, okay, I'm just going to watch 2 hours of Netflix every single day, but you also say there's no time to work on your future, then that's a choice that you're making. And that's why I think this topic is such an important one, Shusmita. So thank you so much for bringing this forth, is that we have to make the Candy Crush that has daily rewards. True, there's also real rewards in life, but then you just have to learn like how do I make those decisions. And I think one step that I want to say, and I want to check with you, Shushmita, like how did you do it? Because you also drastically change your life and the way how you do things and the clients that you serve and the goals that you had set for yourself. Like I happen to know Shushmita quite well, and she had set so many goals for herself, and so many of those goals are already accomplished, like major life changing goals. So like how do you do that? And for me, I think one of the things is really to also start thinking, okay, where do I want to be 5 years from now, and what are the things that I want to have at that point. Write them down and understand that if you have that list, that it's not just going to come fall on your head. You have to do something for it. And that's then where prioritization comes in, because then it's up to us to make that decision to say, okay, I'm going to put some time towards it, even if it's just half an hour per day. If you focus half an hour per day on your dream, whatever that may be, like what Shushmita is saying, if you want to be a scholar, go read those articles. If you want to be a person that creates a business, then spend time learning the skills of marketing, sales, business, anything of the sort. If you want to be a better parent, then plan in that 30 minutes a day where you're just purely focusing on having fun with your kids or doing some activities that is, building the relationship better or whatever, or read parenting books or whatever you want to do, but just make that choice. That's one thing that I wanted to really put in there, because it doesn't matter if it's like super long. And I think that's where people overthink. They think like, oh no, I have to drastically change my calendar. You don't. Even if you just start little by little with just small 30 minutes per day, or even a couple of 30-minute blocks around the week. 4 times the 30 minutes makes 2 hours in an entire week. That can change your life. And as you see certain results coming in, then you're probably going to be inclined to increase that so that more results can come in more fast. But I wanted to ask you this question, Shushmita, because you really, 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 yeah, have since the time that I started knowing you, which is I think 2018. So it's like quite, oh, there's a fly here. Hello, fly. um I remember that you had like all these really, really big, big, big goals, big dreams, and then you just made the changes and they came true. So what is it that you do in your process of getting clear on, okay, this is something that I really want, and now I'm going to make it a priority to make that happen? Like, what's your process in that?
For me, the process. Oh, it was 2019, by the way, because
19. I feel like I've
2000.
known you so much longer. I feel like
Yeah,
I've
but
known you
that
since I
was
was a
from
kid, but that's not the case.
we were, yeah. So Master Surakashana back then, Eriko,
Mhm.
we were in the same group. So
Yeah.
we have known for a long time. But I officially became your student in
Hmm.
2019.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 years, and
Hmm.
one thing that happened to me, and still from time to time it happens. I am not saying this is for everyone. Not
Hmm.
everyone is going to relate,
Yeah.
but one thing was being very much done
Mm.
with what I had been. And from up to this day, time
Mhm.
to time, that some things that elongate for a long while and I become very much done
Mhm.
is then when, like, it's time, there is no other option but for
Yeah.
me to step out and
Mhm.
to move forward. And then one thing I want to very much emphasize, and in all the lives I have emphasized on this, is
Mhm.
that not everything is going to be easy. Like I decide, oh my God, tomorrow the result. No. So even when I decided I am
Yeah.
very much done with the job I had been doing, or the
Mhm.
house I had been living, or the people, or whatever,
Yeah.
then when I make the decision, there is going to be some hard work, some
Mhm.
unpleasant experiences, the trial and error. It is
Yeah.
going to happen. Even keeping up with it, because I made a decision and
Mhm.
sticking with it. That is
Yeah.
how I proceed, and I know many of us proceed.
Mhm.
Some may have some different approach.
Mhm.
Whatever is good, do whatever good it takes, but this is how it
Yes.
works. And then yes, that's my design.
Yes. Who
Yes.
got who?
Yes. So yeah, and keeping up with it
Mhm.
and being eager to take new steps. That
Yeah.
is the third challenge, I would say, because not always things are going to be familiar.
Mhm.
Because you taught Chibaria in our lesson the
Mhm.
funnel, and many of my classmates back then, many of your
Mhm.
students have been, every week there was a new benchmark, new milestone of success. And
Yeah.
it took me a whole year, I think, just to understand what was funnel again, to go
That's
back to
me.
this lesson. So I
Mhm.
had a full-time job back then.
Mhm.
And yeah, but sticking with it, yeah, sometimes it seems, how are they going so fast? Why am I so slow?
Yeah.
But not taking
Mhm.
it to the level where, maybe it's not for me, not
Yeah.
doing that.
Just do.
Instead, I will just keep trying, keep
Mhm.
trying. And then after a while, let's say 90 days
Mhm.
or 6 months or 1 year, something will come up, and
Yeah.
your brain, your soul, mind, however you are adapted, you are going to be adapted, and
Mhm.
the best results will come up.
Yeah.
And that is the third. And the fourth is, how do you proceed? Let's say the goal I set in 2019, it took
Mhm.
me, I think, 2023 to reach the exactly what I wanted. And
Mhm.
some I didn't get, but I got even bigger, and I was like, that was what just happened.
Yeah.
So of course, being grateful, self-reflecting, not everything is going to feel happy all the time.
Mhm.
Some will, and I know, Chibaria, you go through this too, like sometimes
Mhm.
things, what did I do wrong? And
Yeah.
reflecting, asking your friends, your near dear ones, like,
Mhm.
what do you think happened? And I think I did wrong.
Mhm.
And then of course, people who love you will always support you,
Mhm.
will always point out
Yeah.
what are the things you need to work on. Be
Exactly.
very aware of that. Not
Mhm.
like, I know some, like,
Mhm.
even if they're saying something unpleasant, just know they are worried or they're caring. That's why they're saying.
Mhm.
So that fourth step is where you have to be very mindful.
Yeah.
Like, the goals I have accomplished, how do I go further? What will be the next step?
Mhm.
And it is, I don't know who, but someone said that failure is easy, success is difficult, because not everyone can handle success.
Mm.
And once you get, it is easy to become blindsided.
Mhm.
And even if, because my success was mostly offline and
Yeah.
some active active decisions, active milestone of reaching, it
Mhm.
was easy. But many of you are working online, so
Mhm.
the and Shivaria, you too. So when we
Mhm.
celebrate success, it is very important. We do already, to
Mhm.
be mindful of what we achieved, being thankful, and
Mhm.
then proceeding. What can be the next step,
Yeah.
where we can amplify our achievements and the good we can do with it to
Mhm.
people. So
Yeah.
I would say these are 5 stages, and
Mhm.
I want to again emphasize, like, time. Time is the divine gift, and not comparing time to others, which I did. Like, oh my God, they
Yeah.
are
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
1 week. So yeah, Chivaria,
Yeah.
you share now, because
No,
you have.
I think I was just listening. I think I had that last week when we did it, or was it 2 weeks ago? That I'm just like listening. I'm just in awe of what you're saying. That I forget I'm also part of this. But yeah, I think what I was also thinking about when you were sharing that is at the beginning, sorry, the sticking with it, that one is really important, because you're not always seeing instant results. And that's why also what is happening with technology can sometimes, as good as it is, also be a bit detrimental, because it kind of conditions us to expect things to happen quick. Like right now, these days, if you want to order something, it can you can order it, like I can order groceries from my phone and it's there within 20 minutes, or I can, do so many different things and it's just instantly there, that therefore sometimes we are losing the capacity to stay focused for long periods of time until a certain result is there. So I thought the sticking with it point is obviously super important, and also having people around you that are supporting you and holding you accountable is definitely going to be important. But also one of the things that I was thinking about was, how do you actually know that you have, let's say, like a blind spot? Because I think that was very interesting that you were saying too, like once you have already started with the journey, then okay, stick with it and keep looking at the different things that you are accomplishing and understand what you're doing it for, and all of these things that you just so beautifully mentioned. But then sometimes I'm also thinking for myself, like every single day we're obviously working on continuously growing, what can we do, and all of these things. And obviously for yourself, like I need to get to that point, or I want to get to that point, so there's definitely something needed. But then how do you really check in with yourself and dare to acknowledge that there's blind spots and that you just don't know what exactly it is, and what would be the things that you have to change? And I think one of the things that's beautiful in that part, be super honest with, for instance, when you're running a business and you're already getting beautiful results and you're already making sales, but you're knowing that you're not yet at the level where, let's say, the millions are coming in consistently. Then what do you do about that? And what is that point where you realize that, okay, I need to actually drastically make some sort of changes so that I can leap to the next level? And one of the things that I always like about that is to, again, really be super open and super self-reflective. It sounds like you're reflecting light, but like reflecting on yourself. But then also what you said, having a strong group of peers around you that are able to support you, but also honestly point out, like, hey, there's this thing. And I was actually speaking yesterday with Seb and Pierre, and we were talking about one specific new element that we're implementing. And then it was really nice because they pointed out a blind spot, or not, maybe not a blind spot, but it was like a thing where I was growing in, and they brought it so super sweet. I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right, that's a point that I need to grow in. It was really cool. And but it's like having that acceptance of that as well very quickly, I think is super important too, to be able to make the right decisions. Because I think there's a real big pit hole, or danger spot, where because of the things that you do know, we can sometimes get on our high horses and think like, well, I don't need to learn this, or I don't need to perfect this, or I'm already perfect, or whatever, which is no one of us is. So I think that's a big important thing too, before even getting into the stage with all of those beautiful stages that you mentioned, that you do keep an open mind and understand that we are always learning, always growing, and there's certain things that we are not able to see. And then have those people around you that are able to point that out and can say, well, Shusmita, I think boom, 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 or well, Tjibaria, I think boom, 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 and then also to have that agreement. So I think as a other step in that process, I think what we always do, and what may be useful for people that listening to this, is that we always say we're all like asking each other to hold us accountable. So like we have that very strongly within the team, and also within our families, to say like, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, and hold me accountable if I'm not doing those things, or if you're seeing that I'm kind of going on a sidetrack, or that there's something that I'm changing in my attitude, which obviously we don't want to change that. We don't want to become like weird people. That's why, do whatever good it takes. Like, call me out on it, and be open to receive that feedback as well once it happens. And I think that's like some extra bits that I wanted to point out based on what you said. It's interesting, right? Because even though we're talking about this topic, and it's like, how can we give some tips and share certain things that we have already accomplished that may help other people, it always really inspires me to think, okay, where am I falling short? What can I do to get better? What am I not doing efficient enough? Where am I not really focusing where I should be focusing in terms of, all sorts of things, whether it's health, friendships, quality time, learning. Like where do we do that? And I think I have a list for myself. So, a list for things to
We all
implement.
have that list. We all.
Yeah.
And yeah, time to time, I threaten Chibaria, like, I'm calling your mom. And time to time,
Yes, thank you
and
for that.
time
Your
to time.
accountability helps. Like the other day when I wasn't feeling well, it's like, put your phone away. Oh, okay. I think that's a good thing. That's a good
So
system.
yeah, and vice versa. Like
Mhm.
Chibaria being the, I would say, like in the company, being the boss, all the team
No,
members. So
boss.
for, okay, so
We're
being
all
the,
leaders.
okay, being the top leader of the company, it is your job to watch the your juniors or the
Mm,
junior leaders, and
mhm.
then that you do time to time evaluating, having our calls, and
Yeah.
how we are performing all on our end.
Mhm.
That is one thing that we all are trained to do in FLC under
Mhm.
Chibaria's mentorship. We all are trained to do that.
Mhm.
And I would say self-reflection, like Chibaria said, like you write down, and another mentor, he said, like put on your recorder,
Mhm.
like 1 hour or 30 minutes, and
Mhm.
just see what you are doing. Forget that there's a camera, and when you look back, you will see, like, are you wholeheartedly doing the work, or are you
Mhm.
watching, of course, TikToking, or like walking around, or
Yeah.
just doing nothing. So then and I did that. It was amazing
Mhm.
to see, makes you mindful. There is a sweet spot where how much self critique is good,
Mhm.
and over that when you are hurting yourself. And that is for
Mhm.
everything, that is for
Yeah.
love, that is for jealousy. A little bit, having a little bit jealousy means you are possessive of your loved ones. Over
Mhm.
that means that is unhealthy, hurting people. So
Mhm.
that sweet spot, I cannot say because I don't know, none of us do yet, but that
Mhm.
is why you surround yourself with maybe your family. Of course, family is a priority, but if not, you are not sharing uh, everything with your parents, maybe siblings or cousins, your friends, whoever
Mhm.
you are surrounding yourself with, they come in if you are very lucky. And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to find the people officially yourself and
Yeah.
then share with them.
Mhm.
So you must have a wholesome bunch of people who
Mhm.
will be checking you in, and you will
Mhm.
be checking them in. That's how it works.
Mhm.
And another
I
thing
like
is,
how you say that. You have to have a wholesome bunch of people. Write that down, everybody.
yes,
Quote by Shusmita. I love it. It's so cool.
yes. And I am all in for self reflection, because
Mhm.
we all encounter people from time to time who say things positive, who utter positive words, but their
Mhm.
actions don't change.
Mhm.
And even Ichibaria is on the kind route. I am on the a little bit strict route. But the
We
thing
balance each
is,
other very well.
yeah, we balance each other.
Mhm.
So you need to watch out. Let's say you write down, I need to be soft spoken person,
Mhm.
and then you record yourself next few days,
Mhm.
in every time bit, and
Mhm.
see if your words are changing, your attitude is changing. If
Yeah.
not, work on that.
Mhm.
But if you utter positive words, but you are not changing your actions, which I hope none of you are, but it happens from time to time,
Mhm.
it's then when it is not quite reflection, it is just, it becomes words without
Yeah.
meaning.
Mhm.
So I know you have a lot to say, Chibaria, because you always take the kind route. And so people, I am all in. Every
Yeah.
night, this is my practice. Either you do your gratitude, or you do your self reflection, or you
Mhm.
do any kind of journal. Even if a complaint journal you have, every night you write down, I have complaints this. And
Mhm.
1 year later, you will see how your complaints change, how
Mhm.
your gratitude change, how your self critique changes. And that's how you grow.
Wow.
And yes,
That's nice.
and
It's really interesting that you're also mentioning that because for me, I am so not. a journaler. I don't know if anybody listening to this can resonate with that. I find it very very hard, or at least I'm just not as interested in journaling. But I do always dream. Like I can find myself just gazing out of the window and then just doing everything in my mind, and just like thinking, dreaming, and then once I get certain like ideas or get into that zone, then I just go and then do this stuff. And it's interesting how there's so many different ways. So sometimes I've also wondered to myself, like, should I be a bit more consistent in actually writing things down like I do, not always, but I am doing every now and again. So I hold me accountable with the goal
We
writing, like
all have
with
seen
coach.
your vision board, so you
Mhm.
draw. You don't
Yeah,
write, you draw.
yeah. That is true. I like to do things very very visually, and just like the act of writing something, I just don't necessarily like as much. But I do like to sometimes draw things out or just like think about it and then visualize things, like very visual. But just the writing part. But I always have a lot of respect for people that do that because it does have a massive impact. I just think that sometimes, yeah, there might be different ways for different people to do it. But yeah, in the whole thing of self awareness and self reflection, hold me accountable on my goal writing. I will do that better. It's like, so, like there was times where I was doing it really really consistent, and then there's times when I don't. But I am always thinking, dreaming, looking, and just like that sort of stuff. So I am engaged with the goals and the dreams, but in a different way, I guess. But I should do that one a lot better. This has
This is like
become
a
like,
mindfulness practice. Like
yeah.
even if you are not writing, you are focusing your mind and
Hmm.
just like dreaming means you are visualizing the
Hmm.
future. So that's mindfulness practice. Of course, all of us must do it. That's beautiful.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Can I
and
just
once
ask you a question? And I have no idea if this is relevant to the topic at all, but it's just something that I do. I always in my head um, imagine scenarios, and I'm gonna think those scenarios through completely, like, and then like I had it since I was a kid, and this might sound totally weird, but I used to think of certain things, and then I would kind of act them out. So like this is gonna sound so weird, but I remember that I was visualizing going to the funnel hacker live, and then when there's the receipt of the awards, and it was like, you know what, I'm not just gonna receive an award, I'm gonna go and do a dance on stage, and then Russell Brunson will be all in with it. And I was like, and then I was enacting the entire day. I was creating a choreography, and it just pumped me up so much. And I was like, okay, cool, now let's go build a funnel. So like I do these things in my mind. So I think about the things that I want, or would be cool, and I'm not attached to them at all because none of that stuff has happened. But then I just think about it, and then in my mind I'm just seeing like how it all plays out, and I'm
so
just
you are in the zone. That's the
yeah,
ultimate goal, right?
yeah. But it's like it's almost as if you're I don't know, creating a story or of some sort. But then the crazy thing with me is that sometimes I kind of I don't really like these days anymore. I act it out, but I kind of act it out in my head as if I'm in that scenario, and as if someone is asking me a certain question, and I'm answering that. And I don't know, is that weird?
That's a gift. That's a gift that some many of us struggle with
Mhm,
totally being in the zone and believing. For
mhm,
example, if I believe that I am there in Dubai or in Amsterdam in a glass
mhm.
house with you, and then
Yeah,
there will be an ice cream truck
yeah,
every day in front of my house. There will be
yeah,
ice cream van,
yeah.
and then by some point, what if my Mowgli wants to have ice cream? I won't let him have ice cream, and then my mind sidelines to how am I going to handle Mowgli? He will throw a tantrum. What will happen then?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how my brain acts.
No, but I think it's very similar because it's just like with a lot of imagination and um fantasia. I don't know if that's a word anywhere else, but like, is it a word? Fantasy? It's like in Dutch is the word.
Fantasy. Yes.
Fantasy. There we go. That was not so hard, but fantasies. And then yeah, and it just if it can allow you to connect with that future, or at least something that is there, and then you basically bring it in to now, and
Yeah.
then with that you're able to attract those circumstances also. in a way,
Yeah.
even though they might not exactly be the same, because I never did a dance on the Russell Brunson stage yet. Yet. But who knows, right? And I think these things are, yeah, it just, for me, that sort of stuff makes me really happy. And it's just so exciting. I'm just almost sometimes living in my own head, it feels.
And
um
that is, I will say, it's a gift what you have, Chibaria. Many of us, I know I do, struggle of
mhm,
being in the moment and acting
mhm,
out the whole thing.
mhm.
That's, thank God bless you with it.
Oh, you're
But
too kind.
to everyone, I will say that what you are saying is very relevant to the, at the very beginning, what I said, like sticking to that.
Mhm.
So many of the
Yeah.
people, especially people who are very young, I think in their early 20s or
Mhm,
in their teenage or very young adults,
mhm,
the trouble these days is, in this era, the trouble
mhm.
is information is accessible everywhere like
Yeah.
never before, and
Mhm,
goals and manifestation techniques are accessible. And then one day you start a practice
mhm,
a writing journal. The next day, I am bored, which is normal. It happens to us too.
mhm,
But if you start on day three, I'm going to go mindfulness,
mhm,
and then on day three you get bored. I'll go dance.
mhm,
So this is what I am not blaming anyone. I am
mhm.
saying this is very understandable problem that comes with this enormous access to information,
Yeah.
to leaders and people. Uh, Preaching different kinds of practices, this is
Mhm.
normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, you take one, stick to it. Let's say set a goal like for 90 days I will just try this, no
Mhm.
complaints, zero
Yeah, yeah,
complaints,
yeah, yeah. That's very true.
and see what happens. And
Mhm,
on the 91st day you just take
mhm,
a reflection what happened, and
mhm.
then you proceed forward. That's how I very much recommend.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I will say, stick to it. It requires
Mhm.
patience, it
Yeah.
requires of course self reflection, and
Mhm,
it requires the ability to deal with challenges, facing,
mhm,
actually executing through the challenges,
mhm,
not like practicing positivity when action is needed.
mhm.
I am not saying, okay, Chibaria, maybe you can help me with it. I
Yeah.
am not saying they are both necessary. Staying
Mhm,
positive is necessary, going through unpleasant circumstances is
mhm.
necessary,
Yeah.
and you need to take some time to understand how this process is going for you.
Mhm,
That doesn't happen on day three, and of course not when you are bored. We all get bored from time to time,
mhm.
but no, boredom is not what is stopping you.
Yeah.
It's constantly switching direction for some people. That
That's
is,
that's really, really a big point. Yeah, I'm so happy that you're mentioning this, because we see it a lot as well, that even in when it comes to wealth building, that people jump from business model to business model to business model. One day it's e-commerce, next day it's crypto, then next day it is wanting to be a coach, and not sticking a lot to with it too long, or long enough for you to actually see the fruits, because that's just the thing, you're not supposed to see any fruits. I really feel about it this way these days, that it's like a true rite of passage, meaning that if you want to see a certain amount of success in it, you have to be responsible enough to go and be in it, like what you say, for the longer haul. And then once you do that, you kind of have received that access pass to that next level. And if not, you're just, it's not because the level is hard, or because you would or would not be able to do it, it's just because you haven't earned the right yet to be in that level. And so for me as well, coming back to my own reflections, is that I have to earn the right to have the that um writing in my goal book. So hold me accountable to this one, Shush, because it's gonna be really, really important. And yeah, there's just so much wisdom in what you just shared. And there's, I think, also not one size fits all. We're all different. So, when you're more like my style of person, that maybe writing is not really the main thing that you like, it's still building a discipline, and it's still what I think what matters from like the writing exercise, and why I want to do it more with the goal writing, is because you keep it at the forefront of your mind, like the stuff that you're writing, the things that you want to attract. It's just you putting it back into your mind, and it becomes very much more real for you than if you're not doing it. So it's always beneficial, it's always positive. But then obviously for anybody listening to this, like, you can figure out for yourself like what is the best way for you, but don't be like a dabbler, which I certainly have been absolutely guilty of when it comes to goal writing. That you just do it for a few days and then it's like, oh no, I'm bored, because that's not going to do it. Like, you have to then say, okay, like Shushmita says, I'm going to do it for 90 days, and I'm going to see if this is the thing for me, because you won't be able to judge it after just 5 days. The same with a business. Like, you won't be able to judge if the business model works or not if you quit after 2 months or 3 months or 2 years even. Like, it just doesn't work like that. You have to be consistent. But I think the beautiful thing is, which brings me to a very exciting announcement, is that if you do it in a way that you are being stimulated, you're being empowered, you're being put into your power, because all of our powers are different. One person may be very, very good talker, another person may be a very good listener, another person may be very good writer. So like, we're all different in our ways, but if you can be put into your strength and be honored for your strength, then that can help you a lot too. Because if you ask, or if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then it will always think that it is a failure, or that it's not good enough or whatnot, as Einstein says. So do find that place where you are supported as such. And if you want to do that with us, we have a gift for you, meaning that Shushmita is sponsoring a very special gift. And since it's almost the holidays and today is my granddad's birthday celebration and all sorts of positivity, if you want to have a gift, comment below the word gift. Because I think for those of you who got this far into the episode today, you definitely have deserved a gift. So comment below the word gift, and Shushmita will reach out to you to give you this very special gift that will actually help you in the process of being able to make great decisions that will absolutely help you build your future, even if you've tried so many things before and you feel like none of them have worked. Because the very, very plausible reason for that is that maybe you haven't stuck around it long enough. Maybe you haven't been able to have that accountability from peers around you, or maybe you haven't had the right data, which is another big topic that Grant Cardone speaks about, we speak about, and so many others do as well. So comment below the word gift, and Shushmita will hook you up. Now, Shushmita, final tip of today's session. What would you like to share as a thing? And I also want to give a quick shout out to Josie, because Josie's commenting all different things on Instagram. Thank you so much. So yeah.
Josie, they're all my favorite. And okay, so
Oh,
you know how earlier I mentioned that Candy Crush has daily rewards and
yeah.
why addictive practices and Netflix, of course. By the way, I'm a Netflix fan, and because I am also I have other activities. So
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
you play a game, there's
Mhm.
a reward for every day signing up.
Mhm.
So, what is your reward for the offline life, the real life, the physical material life that we are leading?
Mhm.
You can decide a reward for yourself. If you have a mentor, a parent, a
Mhm.
friend, maybe ask them to set up. But for many of us, the reward is finding something to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And in the worst case scenario,
Mhm.
the maybe I right now I can say I'm grateful for being very much done with certain situations in my life that brought me
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will take you a while
Mhm.
to understand the best in that situation.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can find the good instantly. You just have to train your mind for that.
Yeah.
Not everyone is born with a gift.
Mhm.
Many people are, many people aren't. So
Mhm.
you have to give yourself bonus, maybe do something good and
Mhm.
take a chocolate. I don't know.
Yeah.
So figure out, and then every day as you get, and your brain will be adapted to doing a right thing with being rewarded.
Mm.
Eventually, in time, you will find that you have made the best decision by taking the right actions, which
Mhm.
is what our episode was about. Is
Mhm.
that the best decisions, when you decide, you cannot say that yes, this is the best decision ever, but
Mhm.
as you work through this in the result, whatever the result is, it would have been a best decision if you have given it your all.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't get an apple tree, you got an orange tree. But
Mm.
that is also the best thing ever.
Yes.
So I hope you all get daily rewards in your life forever and ever and ever. And
Hmm.
yes, we have it for you.
Yes. Hoo ha hoo. And that's my tip, which is if you want a really cool daily reward, well, a reward is not a daily. Sorry. Whew, I'm. Ah, wow.
Oh,
That was a
bless you.
sneeze. Thank you. Still a bit under the weather, but it's all good. I'm very grateful to sneeze. It always feels really good to sneeze, doesn't it? When you're like expecting a sneeze and then it comes out, it's like, yay, it did it. But yeah, if you want a really cool reward for all of your amazing actions up to this point, then comment below the word gift, and Shushmita is going to give you a very special, very powerful, and truly life transformational gift. And that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with another episode of the Do Whatever Good It Takes podcast with the incredible Shushmita. We are here for some really cool weekly episodes. So, if you guys have any questions or anything, oh, thank you so much, Pilar. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding today's episode, comment them below. Or if you have anything that you would like us to cover based on our experience and the different things that we've been able to do, or the people that we've been able to help all around the world with our businesses, then please let us know and we would love to cover it for the next episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to like, subscribe, do the bell thing so that you can see whenever we come live. If you're following on Instagram, please feel free to follow. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please connect with us. And if you're watching on Facebook, follow as well, I think, or some. No, I'm maxed out on friends, so follow, and then you'll be able to see it wherever you are. Just make sure to click one button that is a positive engagement, so that we can be acquainted with one another. So, Shushmita, thank you so much. Pilar, thank you so much for your kind comments. I'm only seeing them now. Really, really nice. I would love it. Okay, so Pilar, I'm just quickly gonna ask you if you can jump to Instagram. I'm gonna give you my Instagram, and then I'll connect you with Shushmita so Shushmita can give you the gift. Here you go. If you click on this link, you should be able to find me, send me a message. I'll connect you with Shushmita and the gift, and then we can stay acquainted. Let's go. Hoo ha hoo. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Shushmita. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will see you guys next week on Friday. Bye.